I was elbow deep in motor oil when I heard my wife call me a pathetic loser. Not to my face, of course. Angela had more class than that, at least in public. No, I heard it through the cracked garage window on a muggy Tuesday night in June, rain hammering the roof while I changed the oil in my 15-year-old Ford. Her voice drifted out from the kitchen where she was sharing wine with Monica, her best friend since law school. "Kevin's so easy to fool," Angela said, her laugh sharp as broken glass. "He actually believes I'm working late 3 nights a week. God, Mon, I could do so much better. I deserve better." Monica's response was muffled, but Angela's next words came through crystal clear. "Watch this. I'll have him eating out of my hand by the weekend. He's like a puppy, pathetically loyal and just as dumb." I stayed perfectly still under that Ford, oil dripping onto the plastic tarp, my heart doing something complicated in my chest. 14 years of marriage, and this was what I got. A wife who thought I was too stupid to notice she'd stopped wearing her wedding ring to work. My name's Kevin Marsh, and I'm what you'd call blue-collar in a town that's mostly blue-collar anyway. I work maintenance at the community college, fix things that break, keep the boilers running in winter. It's honest work, pays decent, and I own my house free and clear. Bought it before Angela and I got married, back when she was still pretending to love me. Graymont, New York isn't much to look at. It's one of those upstate towns that peaked in the 70s and has been sliding downhill ever since. Main Street has more empty storefronts than open ones. The old textile mill is just a shell full of broken windows and graffiti, but it's home, and people here know each other. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's a curse. I slid out from under the truck and wiped my hands on a rag, thinking about all the little things I'd ignored. The way Angela had started dressing nicer for work, how she'd suddenly needed her own checking account for professional expenses. The late-night texts she'd hide when I walked into a room. I'd been telling myself it was nothing, that I was paranoid, that 15 years together meant something. Turns out I was the punchline to a joke I didn't even know was being told. I walked into the house through the side door, tracking a little oil on the linoleum. Angela and Monica were at the kitchen table, wine glasses in hand, and both went quiet when they saw me. Monica's eyes went wide, guilty as hell. Angela just smiled, smooth as butter. "Hey, honey," she said, like she hadn't just been calling me a moron 30 seconds ago. "Didn't hear you come in. You're filthy. Go shower before you touch anything." "Yeah," I said, keeping my voice level. "Wouldn't want to mess up your nice clean house with my dirty blue-collar hands." Something flickered in her eyes. Uncertainty, maybe. But she recovered fast. "Don't be dramatic, Kevin. You know what I meant." I looked at Monica, who suddenly found her wine glass fascinating. "How's Derek?" I asked. Her husband, nice guy, worked at the bank. "He's fine," she said, not meeting my eyes. "Good. Tell him I said hi." I headed for the stairs, then stopped. "Oh, Angela, I'm gonna need to borrow your phone later. Mine's acting up." Her face went pale. Just for a second, but I saw it. "My phone? Why would you need my phone?" "Just to make a call. That okay, or is there something on there you don't want me to see?" "Don't be ridiculous." But her hand moved to her purse, protective. "Use the landline." "Sure thing, honey." I took the longest shower of my life, letting the hot water pound my shoulders while I thought. I'm not a genius, but I'm not stupid either. Angela was cheating. That much was obvious now. The question was, what was I going to do about it? In the movies, the betrayed husband either falls apart or goes on some kind of rampage. But I'm not a movie character. I'm a 42-year-old maintenance worker with a bad knee from high school football and a mortgage that's paid off. I had to be smart about this. When I came back downstairs, Monica was gone and Angela was loading the dishwasher. She'd changed into her nightgown, the expensive silk one she'd bought last month. For me, she'd said. "Right." "Kevin," she started, her voice softer now. I'm sorry if I seemed snappy earlier. Work's been stressful. I bet. I grabbed a beer from the fridge. How's the Patterson case going? She blinked, surprised I'd asked. I usually didn't bother with her work stuff. She'd made it clear over the years that I wouldn't understand the complexities of corporate law. It's fine, complicated. You working late on it tomorrow? Probably. Why? Just wondering. I took a long drink. You've been putting in a lot of hours lately. They paying you overtime? It doesn't work like that, Kevin. I'm salaried. Right. Salaried. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was still beautiful, maybe more so than when we'd met. She'd been a paralegal then, working her way through night school. I'd been the guy who fixed the air conditioning in her office building. She'd thought my jokes were funny back then. Thought I was sweet. Now, I was just the idiot husband who didn't know any better. I'm going to bed, I said. Long day tomorrow. Kevin? Yeah? She hesitated, and for a second I thought she might actually tell me the truth. But then she just shook her head. Nothing. Good night. I didn't sleep. Instead, I lay there in the dark, listening to Angela breathe beside me, and made a plan. Because here's the thing about being the maintenance guy. You learn how to fix things. And when something's broken beyond repair, you learn how to tear it down safely so nobody gets hurt. Well, almost nobody. The next morning, I called in sick to work. First time in 3 years. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I went through Angela's purse while she was in the shower. Found her phone tucked in the side pocket, password protected. But I knew Angela. She wasn't creative with passwords. I tried our anniversary. Nope. Her birthday? Nope. Her mother's birthday? Bingo. What I found made my stomach turn. Texts to T-Dog, and I knew exactly who that was. Trevor Hastings, real estate agent, family friend. The guy who'd sold us our daughter's first car. The guy who came to our backyard barbecues and called me Buddy. The messages went back months. Explicit photos. Plans to meet at the Riverside Motel off Route 9. Complaints about me. How boring I was. How small my ambitions were. How she'd outgrown me. There was one message from last week that really stuck with me. Can't wait to be done with this charade. Just a few more months, and I'll have everything documented for the divorce. My lawyer says I can get the house if I play it right. The house. My house. The one I'd bought with money I'd saved working double shifts before we even met. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. Then I put the phone back exactly where I'd found it. Angela came out of the bathroom in her power suit, navy blue, tailored, expensive. She looked like $1,000,000. She looked at me like I was something stuck to her shoe. Still here? She asked. I thought you'd be at work. Sick day. You never take sick days. First time for everything. I smiled at her. Hey, you remember Trevor Hastings? She froze, just for a heartbeat. Of course. Why? Just thinking we should have him over for dinner soon. Been a while since we saw him. He's busy with work, I'm sure. Yeah, probably. Guy like that probably has a lot going on. I grabbed my jacket. Actually, I feel better. Think I'll head into work after all. Kevin. But I was already out the door. I didn't go to work. Instead, I drove to the Riverside Motel, a rundown place that rented rooms by the hour. The kind of place you went when you didn't want to be seen. I parked across the street and waited. Sure enough, at 11:30, Angela's BMW pulled into the lot. 5 minutes later, Trevor's Camaro, cherry red, vanity plates that read Sold 1, pulled in next to it. I watched them walk into room 12 together. Trevor's hand on the small of her back, Angela laughing at something he said. I sat there for 10 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. Then I got out of my truck, walked over to Trevor's Camaro, and slashed all 4 tires with the utility knife from my toolbox. It felt good. Better than it should have. I left a note under his windshield wiper. Hope she's worth the walk home. Then I drove to the gym. The only place in town where I could hit something without getting arrested. The gym was my sanctuary. Murphy's Boxing, a concrete block building that smelled like sweat and liniment, had been around since the 50s. Old man Murphy had passed away years ago, but his son Jack kept the place running. It wasn't fancy. Heavy bags hanging from chains, a ring with duct-taped corners, speed bags that rattled when you hit them right. I'd been coming here 3 times a week for the past 5 years. Started as a way to lose the beer gut I'd developed in my 30s. Stayed because hitting things turned out to be excellent therapy. Jack was at the front desk when I walked in, a former middleweight with a face like a catcher's mitt and a heart of gold. "Kevin, thought you were working today." "Change of plans." I headed for the locker room. "You okay, man? You look like hell." "I'm fine." "Uh-huh." Jack had known me long enough to know when I was lying, but he also knew when to leave it alone. "Well, the heavy bag's all yours. Try not to break it this time." I wrapped my hands and went to work. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Again and again until my shoulders burned and sweat poured down my face. I imagined Trevor's smug face, Angela's lying smile, Monica's guilty eyes. "Easy there." Jack's voice cut through my focus. "Bag didn't do nothing to you." I stopped, breathing hard. "Sorry." "Don't apologize to me." He handed me a towel. "You want to talk about it?" "Not really." "Woman trouble?" I laughed, but it came out bitter. "You could say that?" Jack nodded sagely. "They'll break your heart every time. My ex-wife took the house, the car, and my dog. You know what hurt most? The dog. Angela's cheating on me." The words hung in the air between us. Jack's expression shifted from sympathetic to angry. "You sure?" "Caught them at the riverside today." "Jesus, Kevin, I'm sorry." He sat down on the bench next to me. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'm not going to just roll over and take it." "Good man. You need anything, a place to stay, someone to help you move your stuff, you let me know." "Thanks, Jack." I stayed at the gym until late afternoon, then drove home. Angela's car was in the driveway, which surprised me. She usually worked until 6. I walked in to find her standing in the living room, phone in hand, face red with fury. "You slashed his tires?" she screamed. "Are you insane?" So Trevor had told her. Of course he had. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me." "Trevor's Camaro. Someone slashed all 4 tires at the Riverside Motel today, and the neighbor across the street has you on video." Damn, I hadn't thought about security cameras. Maybe I was just in the neighborhood. "In the neighborhood?" She was shaking with rage. "That motel is 20 miles from here. You followed me." "Followed you?" I kept my voice calm, which seemed to make her angrier. "Why would I follow you? Unless you were doing something you didn't want me to know about." "This is harassment, Kevin. Trevor could press charges." "Trevor." I said his name like it tasted bad. "Your colleague, Trevor. The family friend, Trevor. The guy who's been screwing my wife, Trevor." She went pale. "I don't know what you—" I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots, watched the color drain from her face as she scrolled through her own words, her own lies. "Kevin, how long?" My voice was quiet now. Dangerous. "How long have you been sleeping with him?" It's complicated. Complicated." I laughed. "That's what you're going with? Complicated? You don't understand. We've grown apart. You're not the same person I married." "No, Angela. You're not the same person. The woman I married wouldn't have lied to me for months, wouldn't have plotted to steal my house, wouldn't have—" I had to stop, take a breath. "Get out." "What?" "Get out. This is my house. I bought it before we got married. It's in my name only. So pack a bag and get the hell out of my house. You can't just throw me out. I have rights. And I have a lawyer." I'd called one that afternoon, right after the gym. "You want to fight this in court? Fine. Let's see how your boss at the law firm feels about you committing adultery. how your clients feel, how your parents feel. You wouldn't. Try me. She stared at me like she'd never seen me before. Maybe she hadn't. Maybe I'd been invisible to her for years, just the boring husband who paid the bills and fixed the sink when it leaked. I'll call Monica, she said finally. I'll stay with her tonight. You do that. She went upstairs and I heard drawers opening, hangers rattling. 20 minutes later, she came down with a suitcase, her eyes red but dry. Angela didn't cry, not where anyone could see. This isn't over, Kevin. Yeah, I said. It really is. She left, and the house felt bigger, emptier. I sat on the couch in the dark and tried to figure out how I'd gotten here. My phone buzzed, text from a number I didn't recognize. You're going to regret this. Trevor. Had to be. I texted back, looking forward to it. The next few days were a blur. Angela had Monica call me, trying to negotiate. She wanted back in the house, wanted to talk things through, wanted me to be reasonable. I changed the locks instead. Work was awkward. People knew. Small towns, word travels fast. I'd catch them whispering in the break room, going quiet when I walked by. My boss, Frank Patterson, called me into his office on Thursday. Kevin, I'm going to ask you this once, and I want an honest answer. Did you slash Trevor Hastings' tires? No proof of that. That's not what I asked. I met his eyes. Trevor Hastings is sleeping with my wife. If someone decided to express their feelings about that through property damage, I'd say that person showed remarkable restraint. Frank sighed. Look, I get it. I really do. My first wife cheated on me with my brother. But you can't go around destroying people's property. Trevor's talking about pressing charges. Let him. I'll countersue for alienation of affection. That's not a thing in New York. Then I guess we're at an impasse. I stood up. Am I fired? No. But Kevin, be smart about this. Don't let anger make you stupid. Too late for that, I thought. That night, I went to Riley's, the dive bar on Main Street, where everyone went to drink and gossip. I needed a beer, and I didn't care who saw me. The place went quiet when I walked in. 20 pairs of eyes turned to look at me, the cuckold, the guy whose wife was screwing around. I could feel their pity and their judgment in equal measure. I walked to the bar and ordered a beer from Sheila, the bartender who'd been working there since before I was born. On the house, she said, sliding the bottle across. Heard about Angela. I'm sorry, honey. Thanks, Sheila. For what it's worth, everyone thinks she's trash for what she did. You're a good man, Kevin Marsh. You deserve better. Appreciate that. I was halfway through my beer when someone sat down next to me. Dale Cooper, my best friend since high school, or at least he used to be my best friend. Kevin? Dale. We need to talk. Do we? He shifted uncomfortably. Look, man, Angela called Brenda. She's really upset. Says you threw her out of the house, won't let her get her things. Brenda was Dale's wife, and she and Angela had been friends for years. I should have seen this coming. Angela's a liar, I said flatly. She can get her things any time. She just can't move back in. She says you're being unreasonable, that you won't even discuss counseling. Counseling. I turned to look at him. Dale, she's been screwing Trevor Hastings for months. She told Monica I was too stupid to notice. She was planning to divorce me and take my house. What exactly should we counsel about? I'm not saying what she did was right. But you're not handling this well. Slashing tires, throwing her out. You're making yourself look like the bad guy here. I stared at him. Are you serious right now? I'm trying to help you, man. You're my friend. But you need to calm down and think about this rationally. Get out of my face, Dale. Kevin, I said, get out of my face. I stood up, and Dale backed away, hands raised. Fine. But when this blows up in your face, don't say I didn't warn you. He left, and I finished my beer in silence. When I looked around the bar, half the people were looking away, embarrassed. The other half were looking at me like I was the problem. That's when I realized Angela was better at this game than I was. She'd already started spinning the narrative, painting herself as the victim of an unreasonable, possibly violent husband. And people were buying it. I paid my tab and left. Outside, in the parking lot, I found Trevor leaning against my truck. He'd traded the Camaro for a rental, a black Mustang that probably cost more per day than I made in a week. "We need to talk," he said. "No, we really don't. I could have you arrested for what you did to my car. But you won't, because then you'd have to explain why your car was at a cheap motel in the middle of the day. How would that look to your clients, Trevor? Family man like you, sneaking around with another man's wife?" His jaw tightened. "Angela and I are in love." "Love?" I laughed. "Is that what you call it? You don't deserve her. You never did. She's brilliant, ambitious, going places, and you're just—" He waved a hand dismissively. "You're just a maintenance worker. A nobody. And yet she married me. Biggest mistake of her life. But don't worry, she's fixing it." I stepped closer to him, close enough to smell his expensive cologne. "Let me make something very clear, Trevor. You want Angela? You can have her. But you're not getting my house. You're not getting my money. And you're sure as hell not getting away with this without consequences. Is that a threat?" "It's a promise." I got in my truck and drove away, leaving him standing there in the parking lot. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, not from fear, from rage. They thought I was a nobody, a joke, too stupid to fight back. They had no idea what was coming. The next morning, I woke up to find my truck keyed. Someone had carved "Psycho" into the driver's side door in letters 6 inches tall. I called the police. Officer Ramirez showed up, took photos, asked questions. "Any idea who might have done this?" "I've got a few suspects." "Your wife? Or her boyfriend?" Ramirez sighed. "Look, Mr. Marsh, I heard about your situation. I'm sorry, but you need to let the courts handle this. Don't take matters into your own hands. Someone vandalized my truck, and we'll investigate. But between you and me, lawyer up, document everything, and don't do anything stupid. These domestic situations can get ugly fast." After he left, I called my lawyer, Bill Henderson, a guy I'd gone to high school with who'd made good. He'd agreed to take my case for a reasonable rate, mostly because he'd never liked Angela. "Kevin, I need you to listen carefully," Bill said when I told him about the truck. "Angela's building a case that you're unstable. The tire slashing, throwing her out, now this confrontation with Trevor. She's going to paint you as the aggressor. But she's the one who cheated. Doesn't matter. In the court of public opinion, the narrative matters more than the truth. And right now, she's controlling the narrative. So what do I do? You be the bigger person. Document everything, every text, every call, every interaction. Don't engage with her or Trevor unless absolutely necessary. And for God's sake, don't destroy any more property. I didn't key my own truck." "I know. But you see how this works? She does something, you get blamed. You need to be smarter than her." I hung up feeling frustrated. Being smart meant being passive, and I was done being passive. That afternoon, I got a call from my daughter. Jess was 19, home from college for the summer, staying with Angela at Monica's house. We hadn't spoken since the separation. "Dad, we need to talk." "I'm listening." "Mom says you're harassing her, that you're making threats." "Your mother's lying, Jess. She showed me the texts you sent, the things you said about Trevor." "Did she show you the texts she sent Trevor? The ones where she called me stupid? Where she planned to steal my house?" Silence. Then, "That's different." "How is it different?" "Because you drove her to it. You never supported her career. You were always holding her back." I closed my eyes. Angela had gotten to her first, poisoned the well. "Jess, I worked 2 jobs to help pay for your mother's law school. I supported every promotion, every late night, every business trip. What exactly did I do to hold her back? You're not on her level, Dad. You never were. Those words hit harder than any punch I'd ever taken in the ring. My own daughter parroting her mother's contempt. If that's how you feel, I said quietly, then I guess we don't have anything else to talk about. Dad, I hung up. That night, I sat in my empty house and took stock. I'd lost my wife, my daughter, my best friend. Half the town thought I was a psycho. The other half just felt sorry for me. But I wasn't beaten. Not yet. I spent the weekend digging. See, being a maintenance worker means you know people. The janitors, the security guards, the people nobody pays attention to. And those people see things, hear things. I called Tommy Rodriguez, who worked security at the law firm where Angela was a junior partner. We'd had beers together a few times, talked about football and fishing. Tommy, I need a favor. Man, I heard about you and Angela, that's rough. Yeah. Listen, I need to know if she's been bringing anyone to the office after hours, anyone who's not supposed to be there. Long pause. Kevin, I could lose my job. I'm not asking you to do anything illegal. Just tell me what you've seen. Another pause. Then, Trevor Hastings. He's been there late a few times. Last month I had to let him in because Angela said he was consulting on a real estate deal. But Kevin, they weren't in a conference room. They were in her office. And I'm pretty sure I get the picture. I'm sorry, man. Not your fault. Thanks, Tommy. Next, I called Lisa Chen, who worked the front desk at Trevor's real estate office. We'd met at a neighborhood barbecue last year. Her kid and Jess had gone to school together. Lisa, can I ask you something and this stays between us? Of course, Kevin. What's up? Has Trevor been acting different lately? Taking unusual calls, maybe leaving the office at odd times? Funny you should ask. Yeah, he's been super secretive the past few months. Lots of personal calls he takes in his car. And he's been leaving early on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Angela's late work nights. Has he mentioned Angela Marsh at all? Your wife? No, but... She lowered her voice. There was this one time about a month ago. His wife called the office looking for him. He told her he was showing a property, but the client called and said Trevor never showed up. His wife was furious. They had this huge fight in the parking lot. Trevor's married? Yeah, for like 15 years. You didn't know? I didn't. Angela had always said Trevor was divorced. Another lie. Lisa, thank you. You have no idea how helpful this is. Kevin, whatever you're planning, be careful. Trevor's not a good guy. There are rumors about his business practices, nothing proven, but people talk. What kind of rumors? Shady deals. Properties that sell for way under market value, then get flipped for huge profits. Some people think he's got a partner who helps him manipulate sellers. Interesting. Thanks, Lisa. I hung up and smiled for the first time in days. Trevor wasn't just a cheater, he was a fraud, and frauds left paper trails. I spent the next week becoming an expert on Trevor Hastings. Public records showed he'd filed for bankruptcy 5 years ago. His real estate license had been suspended twice for ethics violations. His current wife, Karen, had filed for separation 3 months ago, right around when the affair with Angela started. And then I found the really interesting stuff. Trevor had sold 6 properties in the past year, all to the same buyer, a company called Riverside Holdings, LLC. Each property had sold for significantly under market value. Riverside would then flip them within weeks for double the price. I couldn't prove it, but I'd bet my house that Trevor owned Riverside Holdings. It was a classic fraud scheme. Sell properties to yourself at a loss, claim the loss on taxes, then flip them for profit through the shell company. This was bigger than an affair. This was criminal. I called Bill Henderson. I need you to look into something for me. Kevin, I'm your divorce lawyer, not a private investigator. Just hear me out. I laid out what I'd found. Bill was quiet for a long time. If you're right about this, he said finally, Trevor could go to prison. I know. And Angela? If she knew about it, if she helped him set up the LLC or gave him legal advice, she could be disbarred. Kevin, this is dangerous territory. If you're wrong, I'm not wrong. I just need proof. Then you need a real investigator. I know a guy, former FBI. He's expensive, but he's good. Set it up. The investigator's name was Marcus Webb, and he looked exactly like you'd expect. Gray hair, sharp eyes, the kind of guy who noticed everything. We met at a diner outside of town. Mr. Marsh, Bill tells me you've stumbled onto something interesting. That's one word for it. I showed him everything I'd compiled. He looked through it methodically, making notes. This is good work, he said. Better than most of my clients manage. You ever think about a career change? I like fixing things. Well, Trevor Hastings is definitely broken. Give me 2 weeks. If there's dirt to find, I'll find it. What's this going to cost me? He named a figure that made me wince. I can do payment plan? Half up front, half when I deliver results. And Mr. Marsh? This kind of investigation, it's going to bring everything out into the open. Your wife's affair, your marriage problems, all of it. Are you prepared for that? I'm prepared to burn it all down if that's what it takes. He smiled. Then we're going to get along just fine. I paid him and left, feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. But hope is a dangerous thing. It makes you careless. That night, I got a call from Dale. Kevin, we need to meet. It's important. I thought we weren't friends anymore. Just meet me. Riley's, 9 o'clock. I almost didn't go, but curiosity got the better of me. Dale was waiting at a back booth, looking nervous. When I sat down, he slid a manila envelope across the table. What's this? Open it. Inside were photos. Me following Angela's car. Me at the Riverside Motel. Me talking to Tommy Rodriguez. Me meeting with Marcus Webb. Where did you get these? Monica hired a private investigator. She's documenting everything you do. They're building a case that you're stalking Angela, harassing her. They're going to get a restraining order. Monica hired... I stopped. Why would Monica hire a PI? Dale looked uncomfortable. She's helping Angela with the divorce, paying for her lawyer, letting her stay at her house. She's really invested in this, Kevin. More than she should be. What does that mean? I don't know. But Brenda thinks it's weird, too. Monica's spending a lot of money on this, and she seems almost happy about your marriage falling apart. I looked at the photos again. Professional quality. Expensive. Why are you showing me this? Because Brenda made me realize I was being an idiot. You're my friend. You've been my friend since we were kids, and I took Angela's side without even hearing yours. I'm sorry. Dale, let me finish. I don't know what you're planning, but be careful. Monica's got resources, and she's got a grudge. A grudge? Against me? I don't know the details. But yeah, Brenda says Monica's always resented you. Something about a job. And then I remembered. 7 years ago, I'd been on the hiring committee at the college. Monica had applied for an administrative position. She'd been qualified on paper, but her interview was a disaster, rude to the staff, condescending about the job. I'd voted against hiring her. She'd gotten the job anyway. 2 other committee members overruled me. But she'd been fired 6 months later for falsifying expense reports. She'd blamed me. Said I'd poisoned everyone against her from the start. I'd forgotten all about it. Apparently, she hadn't. Monica's been planning this, I said slowly. The affair, the divorce. She's been manipulating Angela. That's crazy. Is it? Think about it. Monica's the one who introduced Angela to Trevor. She's the one who's been encouraging the affair. She's paying for Angela's lawyer. She hired the PI. Dale, this isn't about my marriage. This is revenge. Dale looked skeptical, but didn't argue. So what are you going to do? I'm going to give her exactly what she wants. What does that mean? I stood up. Thanks for the warning. And Dale? We're good. Yeah? Yeah. I left the bar with a new plan forming. Monica wanted to destroy me? Fine. But she'd made one critical mistake. She'd made it personal, and I was very good at fixing personal problems. Marcus Webb called me 12 days later. We need to meet. Same place. 1 hour. I broke every speed limit getting there. He was waiting with a thick folder. Mr. Marsh, I have to say, this case has been illuminating. Your instincts were correct. Trevor Hastings is running a real estate fraud scheme. Riverside Holdings is his company. He set it up 3 years ago using a registered agent in Delaware. I've got bank records showing he's been funneling money through it. Conservative estimate, he's cleared about $2 million. And Angela? She incorporated the LLC for him. Her signature's on the paperwork. She also prepared several contracts for property sales. If prosecutors wanted to make a case, they could argue she was complicit. Would she go to jail? Probably not. More likely she'd be disbarred, face civil penalties. But her legal career would be over. I took the folder and flipped through it. Bank statements, property records, emails between Trevor and Angela discussing their investment. It was all there. There's more, Marcus said. I looked into Monica Reeves like you asked. Turns out she's been in financial trouble for years. Credit cards maxed out, house in foreclosure. She's been borrowing money from Angela, about $50,000 over the past 2 years. Angela never mentioned that, because Angela was using it as leverage. I found emails where Angela threatened to call in the loans if Monica didn't help her with something. The timing matches up with when your marriage started falling apart. Monica was helping Angela cheat? More than that, Monica was the one who suggested Trevor. She set them up. And get this, Monica used to date Trevor back in college. They stayed friends. The pieces clicked into place. Monica had been orchestrating everything. The affair, the divorce, my public humiliation, all because I'd voted against hiring her 7 years ago. There's one more thing, Marcus said, and this is where it gets really interesting. I found a text exchange between Monica and Trevor from 3 months ago. She offered him money, $20,000, to seduce Angela and destroy your marriage. I stared at him. She paid him? Bank transfer, right there in the records. Monica Reeves to Trevor Hastings, $20,000. Memo line says, consulting fee. But the texts make it clear what it was really for. Jesus Christ. Mr. Marsh, what Monica did, conspiracy to alienate affection, fraud. It's not technically illegal in New York, but it's deeply unethical. Combined with Trevor's fraud and Angela's involvement, you've got enough ammunition to destroy all 3 of them. What do you recommend? That depends on what you want. You want revenge? Go to the police, the State Bar Association, the IRS. You want your life back? Use this as leverage in the divorce? You want them to suffer? Make it public? I sat there for a long time, thinking. I want all of it, I said finally. Marcus smiled. Then let's get to work. The plan was simple. Expose everything, all at once, in the most public way possible. First, I sent copies of the fraud evidence to the New York State Attorney General's office, the IRS, and the State Real Estate Commission. Anonymous tip, untraceable. Second, I sent copies of Monica's conspiracy to Angela's law firm, along with evidence of her involvement in Trevor's fraud scheme. Let them decide whether to keep a corrupt lawyer on staff. Third, and this was my favorite part, I compiled everything into a neat package and scheduled it to be posted on every social media platform I could find. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. Small towns love drama, and I was about to give them the show of a lifetime. But before I pulled the trigger, I needed to confront them, face to face, let them know exactly who'd beaten them. I sent a text to Angela, Trevor, and Monica. We need to talk, all of us. Tomorrow, 7 p.m., Murphy's Gym. Come alone or this all goes public tonight. Angela called immediately. Kevin, what are you doing? Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Don't be late. I hung up. The next evening, I arrived at Murphy's at 6:30. Jack had agreed to let me use the place after hours. The gym was empty, just the ring in the center and the heavy bags hanging like silent witnesses. Angela arrived first, dressed in a business suit like she was going to court. "Kevin, this is ridiculous. What do you want?" "Wait for the others." Trevor came next, trying to look confident but failing. "This better be good, Kevin. I've got places to be." "I bet you do." Monica was last, and when she saw the three of us together, her face went pale. "What is this?" "This," I said, "is the end." I pulled out 3 folders, one for each of them, and tossed them on the floor of the ring. "Go ahead. Take a look." Angela picked up hers first. I watched her face as she read through the evidence of Trevor's fraud, her involvement, the emails, the bank records. She went white. Trevor grabbed his and started flipping through pages, his hands shaking. "Where did you get this?" "Doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm going to do with it." Monica hadn't touched hers. She just stared at me with pure hatred. "You bastard." "That's funny coming from you. Tell them, Monica. Tell them how you set this whole thing up. How you paid Trevor to seduce Angela. How you've been manipulating my wife for months, all because I voted against hiring you 7 years ago." Angela turned to Monica. "What is he talking about?" "He's lying." "Am I?" I pulled out my phone and played the audio recording Marcus had made from Monica's voicemail to Trevor. Her voice, clear as day. "Just keep sleeping with her. The divorce will be final soon, and then Kevin will have nothing. He'll be destroyed, just like he destroyed me." The gym went silent except for Monica's recorded voice. Angela looked at Monica like she'd never seen her before. "You set this up? You used me?" "I was helping you. You wanted out of this marriage. I wanted therapy. I wanted to work things out. You told me Kevin was hopeless, that he'd never change, that I deserved better. You do deserve better. You paid Trevor to sleep with me." Angela's voice cracked. "I thought he loved me. I thought—" She turned to Trevor. "Did you ever care about me at all?" Trevor didn't answer. He was too busy reading through the evidence of his fraud, probably calculating his prison time. "I've sent all of this to the Attorney General," I said calmly, "and the IRS, and the State Bar, and the Real Estate Commission. By tomorrow morning, all 3 of you are going to be under investigation." "You can't do this," Trevor said. "I already did." "I'll sue you for defamation." "With what money? You're about to lose your license and probably go to prison. Good luck affording a lawyer." Angela sank to her knees, still holding the folder. "Kevin, please. I didn't know about the fraud. I thought I was just helping a friend." "You helped him steal from people. You signed the papers. You knew exactly what you were doing." "I'll lose everything. My career, my reputation, like I lost my wife, my daughter, my friends. Yeah, Angela. You'll lose everything. That's the point." Monica lunged at me, but I sidestepped easily. She fell to the mat, screaming, "You ruined my life. You took everything from me." "No, Monica, you ruined your own life. I just made sure everyone knew about it." I walked to the door, then stopped and turned back. "Oh, one more thing. At 9 o'clock tonight, all of this goes public. Every social media platform, every local news outlet, every gossip site in the county. By tomorrow morning, everyone in Graymont will know exactly what you did. All of you." "Kevin, wait." Angela reached for me, but I stepped back. "We're done. All of us. You wanted to destroy me? Congratulations. You succeeded, but I'm taking all of you down with me." I left them there in the empty gym, Angela crying, Trevor panicking, Monica screaming, and walked out into the cool night air. At 9 o'clock, I hit send. Within an hour, my phone was blowing up. Friends, neighbors, people I hadn't talked to in years, everyone had seen the posts. Everyone knew. Dale called. "Holy shit, Kevin. Is all of this true?" "Every word." "Monica set you up, and Angela knew about the fraud?" "Yep." "Jesus, I'm sorry, man. I should have believed you from the start." Yeah, you should have. For what it's worth, everyone's on your side now. They're calling Angela and Trevor every name in the book, and Monica, someone egged her house tonight. Good. What are you going to do now? I don't know. But at least everyone knows the truth. I hung up and sat in my empty house, feeling nothing. No satisfaction, no relief, just emptiness. But the next morning, I woke up to find something unexpected. Support. My driveway was full of casseroles and baked goods from neighbors. My phone had dozens of messages from people offering help, sympathy, even job opportunities. Jack called to say the gym membership had voted to ban Angela and Trevor. Bill called to say Angela's law firm had fired her and was cooperating with the investigation. Jess called too. Dad, I saw everything. I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. It's okay, honey. No, it's not. Mom lied to me. She used me. And I said terrible things to you. You were protecting your mother, I understand. Can I come home? This is your home. You can come back whenever you want. She was crying. I love you, Dad. I love you too. For the first time in months, I felt something like hope. The investigations moved fast. Trevor was arrested within a week. Fraud, tax evasion, conspiracy. He's looking at 10 to 15 years. Angela lost her law license and is facing civil suits from Trevor's victims. She's working as a paralegal now, making a quarter of what she used to. Monica fled town. Last I heard, she was living with her sister in Ohio, working retail. And me? I'm still here in Graymont, still fixing things at the college, still going to Murphy's 3 times a week. But now when I walk down Main Street, people smile and wave. They know what happened. They know I fought back. Last week I ran into Karen Hastings, Trevor's wife, at the grocery store. She thanked me for exposing him, said she'd suspected something was wrong but didn't have proof. She's divorcing him and taking everything. You did a good thing, she said. You saved a lot of people from getting hurt. I don't know about that. I just know I wasn't going to let them destroy me without a fight. My house is still empty. Jess visits on weekends, but she's got her own life now. I've been on a few dates, nothing serious. Maybe someday I'll trust someone enough to try again, or maybe I won't. But here's what I learned. When someone tries to destroy you, you have 2 choices. You can let them, or you can burn their whole world down. I chose fire, and I don't regret it for a second. 3 months after everything went public, I thought it was over. The investigations were ongoing, Angela had moved out of state, and Monica was gone. Trevor was in jail awaiting trial. Life was slowly returning to normal. Then I got a call from Marcus Webb. Mr. Marsh, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Trevor made bail, and he's back in Graymont. Why would he come back here? Everyone knows what he did. That's what worries me. People who've lost everything are dangerous. I think you should be careful. I thanked him and hung up, but I wasn't worried. Trevor was a coward who'd built his life on lies. He wasn't going to do anything stupid. I was wrong. 2 days later, I came home from work to find my front door kicked in. The house had been ransacked, furniture overturned, drawers emptied, pictures smashed, spray painted on my living room wall in red letters. You ruined my life. I called the police. Officer Ramirez came out, took a report, dusted for prints. Mr. Marsh, I'm going to be straight with you. Trevor Hastings is unstable. He's lost everything, and people like that are unpredictable. You should consider staying somewhere else until we find him. This is my house. I understand, but please be careful. Lock your doors, vary your routine, and if you see him, call us immediately. Don't confront him yourself. After Ramirez left, I cleaned up the mess and tried to figure out what Trevor had been looking for. It took me an hour to realize the original documents, the evidence Marcus had compiled. Trevor thought I still had the physical copies. I didn't. Marcus had them in a safe deposit box, but Trevor didn't know that. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Kevin. Trevor's voice slurred, drunk or high, maybe both. You destroyed me. You took everything. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure people knew about it. My wife left me. My kids won't talk to me. I'm going to prison because of you. No, you're going to prison because you committed fraud. This isn't on me. I want those documents, the originals. You give them to me and I'll disappear. You'll never see me again. I don't have them. Liar, I know you have them. I want them, Kevin, or I'll make you suffer like you made me suffer. Is that a threat? It's a promise. He hung up. I called Marcus, told him about the break-in and the phone call. He's desperate, Marcus said. Desperate people do desperate things. I'm going to call the police, let them know he's making threats. What if he comes back? Then you defend yourself. You have a right to protect your property. After we hung up, I sat in my living room with my old baseball bat across my lap, waiting. Part of me hoped Trevor would come back. Part of me wanted the confrontation, but he didn't come that night, or the next night. 3 days later, I got a call from Dale. Kevin, turn on the news, Channel 7. I turned on the TV to see a breaking news report. Standoff at Graymont High School. A man identified as Trevor Hastings has barricaded himself in the gymnasium with what police say may be explosives. He's demanding to speak with Kevin Marsh. I called Ramirez. I'm on my way to the school. Mr. Marsh, you can't. He wants to talk to me. Let me talk to him. 20 minutes later, I was at the school, which was surrounded by police cars and news vans. Ramirez met me at the perimeter. He's in the gym, says he's got a bomb. We don't know if he's bluffing. Let me go in. Absolutely not. We have trained negotiators. He doesn't want a negotiator. He wants me. If I don't go in there, he might do something stupid. Ramirez looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. You're wearing a wire, and if things go south, you hit the ground and let us handle it. They fitted me with a wire and a vest, then walked me to the gym entrance. The doors were chained from the inside, but Trevor had left a small gap. Trevor, it's Kevin. I'm coming in. Alone? Alone. The chains rattled, and the door opened just wide enough for me to slip through. Inside, the gym was dark except for the emergency lights. Trevor stood in the center of the basketball court, looking like hell. He'd lost weight, his clothes were dirty, and his eyes had that wild look of someone who'd given up. In his hand was what looked like a bomb, wires and a timer and everything. I couldn't tell if it was real. You came, he said. You asked me to. I wanted you to see what you did. Look at me, Kevin. Look at what you turned me into. I didn't turn you into anything. You did this to yourself. I had a life, a career, a family, and you took it all away. You took it away when you decided to commit fraud, when you decided to sleep with my wife. You made those choices, Trevor, not me. I loved her. His voice cracked. I really loved Angela. And she threw me away the second things got hard, just like everyone else. That's what happens when you build your life on lies. He laughed bitterly. You think you're so righteous, so moral, but you're just as bad as me. You destroyed 3 people's lives for revenge. I exposed the truth. That's not revenge, that's justice. Justice. He spat the word. You want justice? Fine. We'll both get justice. He held up the device, and I saw his thumb on what looked like a trigger. Trevor, don't. Why not? I've got nothing left. Nothing to live for. At least this way, I take you with me. You don't want to do this. Don't I? You ruined my life, Kevin. You made sure everyone knows what I did. My kids are ashamed of me. My wife hates me. I'm going to prison. What's the point of living? The point is that life goes on. You made mistakes, huge mistakes, but you can still come back from this. How? How do I come back from being a fraud and a cheat and a homewrecker? How do I face my kids? How do I... His voice broke. How do I live with what I've done? One day at a time. You serve your time, you make amends, you try to be better. That's all any of us can do. It's too late for me. It's never too late. He looked at me, tears streaming down his face. I hate you. I hate you so much. I know. But you're right. I did this to myself. I knew it was wrong, sleeping with Angela. I knew the fraud was wrong. But I kept doing it because it was easy. Because I'm weak. Then be strong now. Put down the bomb. Walk out of here. Face what you did like a man. For a long moment, he just stood there, thumb on the trigger. Then, slowly, he lowered the device and set it on the floor. It's not even real, he said. Just wires and a clock from Radio Shack. I couldn't even do this right. The police rushed in, tackled him to the ground, cuffed him. As they dragged him away, he looked back at me one last time. I'm sorry, he said, for everything. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Outside, the news cameras were waiting. Reporters shouted questions, but I ignored them. I just wanted to go home. Dale was waiting by my truck. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. That was brave, what you did. Or stupid. Maybe both. He clapped me on the shoulder. Come on, Brenda's making dinner. You shouldn't be alone tonight. I followed him home, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel empty. I felt tired, sure, worn out, but also relieved. It was finally over. Trevor pleaded guilty to all charges: fraud, tax evasion, making terroristic threats. He got 12 years. Angela settled her civil suits and moved to Arizona. Monica never came back to Graymont. And me? I'm still here, still fixing things, still going to Murphy's, still living in my house. Jess came home for good last month. She's taking classes at the community college, working part-time at the library. We're rebuilding our relationship one day at a time. Last week, she asked me if I regretted what I did, if I wished I'd just let it go, moved on, been the bigger person. I thought about it for a long time before I answered. No, I said. I don't regret it. They tried to destroy me, and I fought back. Maybe I went too far. Maybe I should have just walked away. But I didn't, and I'm okay with that. Are you happy, Dad? I'm getting there. And I am. Slowly. Life isn't perfect. It never was. But it's mine. I'm not living in anyone's shadow, not playing anyone's game. I'm just Kevin Marsh, maintenance worker, father, survivor. The other day I saw Karen Hastings at the grocery store again. She smiled and waved, and we talked for a few minutes about nothing in particular. As I was leaving, she said something that stuck with me. You know what the difference is between you and Trevor? You fought for what was yours. He just took what wasn't his. That's why you're still standing and he's not. Maybe she's right. Or maybe I just got lucky. Either way, I'm still here, and that's enough.